Hello, good evening. Thank you for being here. It's a little difficult to see you because these lights are terribly bright. I'm Arshia, of course, and this is Jerry, of course. This is going to be a somewhat unconventional session because I will leave in 20 minutes because I have a plane to catch, but Jerry is completely capable of holding his own by himself. As we were told, Jerry has many hats, apparently. I would rather like to think of it as many avatars. He is a poet, a novelist, a translator, a writer of inspirational works, most importantly, a teacher who's particularly supportive of his women students. And I think one part of that aspect of Jerry is the fact that one of his new translations is called The Ant Who Swallowed the Sun. And it's translations of poems by Marathi women saints. But I'm going to talk, sorry, Jerry, would you like to be a translator today? Yeah.
Okay, I want to do that one poem because I wanted to tell you about this moment that happened in my life, right? This is awful. Up there is awful. Up down here is where I wanted to be. Okay, so basically, fundamentally what happened was I was in a gym, right? And there was, you know gyms, right? In my gym in Bombay, they have this terrible music, okay, which is the chaka-jin, 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 chaka. And one day that music stopped. For some reason, the system wasn't working, and there I was on a treadmill, and next to me on a treadmill was Neela Bhagwat, who is a very famous singer of a classical singer, but she's also a socialist. So I could turn to her and say, Neela, the sound system isn't working, sing. And Neela, because she was Neela, started to sing. And she sang Mungi Udali Akashi, okay, which is an ant flew into the sky. Tine Gilile Suryanshi. She swallowed the sun. And because of the way we experience Indian classical music, the line keeps coming back, right? It doesn't just go away into the future. It keeps coming back. Mungi udali akashi, tine gilile suryanshi. And each time in your head, an image arises. What does this mean? That there is an ant that swallowed the sun. And I imagine Muktabai as a little girl kneeling down, picking up an ant, and closing one eye and obliterating the sun. And then gently putting it down again because this is a poet saint. So her touch is gentle. That's one way. Or the second way could be possibly what happens when God arrives in your life. You swallow the sun. It is a meltdown of lava and gold and sunlight. That's what happens when God enters your life. So at the end of it, I turned to Neela and I said, that was so beautiful. Such a beautiful poem. Where can I read this? And I wanted to read it, of course, because I'm lazy. I wanted to read it in English. I didn't want to do the work of reading it in Marathi. And she said, no one's translated it. So I said, let's do it together. We'll translate these women together. Choose 50 poems and we'll do it together. Let's do this. And I've said this to hundreds of people. You know, I meet an Urdu poet who's doing lovely shairi and I say, come, let's do this work together. And they say, yes, 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 but they never turn up. But Neela turned up with 50 poems. And we started work, and let me give you one Muktabai poem, then we'll go to Tukaram, okay? Because Muktabai is also someone who's in my heart. I want to talk to her. In fact, I do talk to her. She doesn't talk back, but she talks back in the poems. Here is Muktabai talking about joy and sorrow. First came joy, and on the morrow, hard on her heels, a visit from sorrow. Just as we settled down to grieving, sorrow announced that she was leaving. Joy and sorrow, what's the difference? Both are sisters, born of ignorance. Muktai tells Sangya, self-born the soul, standing like a banyan, erect and whole. Thank you. I'm back.
Well done, Jerry. Well done. You really want me to be here? Okay. That was really very, very special, and thank you. I want to talk actually about your Tuka translations because I find them amazing. I mean, truly, truly amazing. Thank you, darling. I think it's actually your best work so far in your poetry and in your translation. So do you want to tell them about the Tuka book and what is special about it? Yeah.
You know, back in the day, long ago, when you started reading, right? You started reading and there were certain books that seemed to have always been there. They were part of the landscape. You don't think of them as having a date of publication. And one of them was Says Tuka by Dilip Chitri, right? Which brought Tukaram to all of us. Two guys, if you have not read Arun Kolatkar's Jezuri, okay, stop wasting your life. Go buy that. If you don't buy my books, but you buy Jezuri, I forgive you. Okay? Jezuri is like the work that talks about an atheist confronting God inside the mouth of a beggar woman. It is an incredible work. I've read nothing like it. So these are the books that broke you open, right? They made you aware. Oh, Hymns for the Drowning, A.K. Ramanujan. Speaking of Siva, Interior Landscape, Poems of Love and War. You read those poems and you thought, I want to do this. I want to be like this. You know, like that Basavanna poem. They see long hair and big breasts coming. They say it is a woman. They see big muscles coming and a beard. They say it is a man. But what of the soul, Ramanatha? What of the soul? Is it man? Or is... You just feel how enriched, how glorious is it to be able to read these things and just soak in them, right? And I believe that one of the things that happens to us when we long, okay, like you can't say it. You can't say, I want to be like Ramanuja. Now I'm saying it, but you know, you read folk tales from it. You read those books and you think, I want to do this. I want to be part of this tradition. This is my Sangha. You know, and please let me in. So in that sense, somehow, you know, all the women saints standing outside and saying, Vithala, why are you not paying attention to me? Vithala, look in my direction. I felt that way. And then I was talking to my friend of mine, Shanta Gokhale, and we had discussed Dilip Chitri very many years ago. And I asked her, I said, Shanta, do you think you could do better than Dilip? And she said, with one hand tied behind my back. Okay. And I thought, whoa, like, take it on, baby. Okay. And so at this point, I said, let's do it together. Let's you tie your hand behind your back and let's go. There's a moment when she also has a great moment of self-doubt in the introduction. Yeah. And she said, we must put this in, this exchange of letters. I hope when you read the book, you'll see that. Because I think I feel now strongly about our introduction to the book is that we were naked in the face of process. We shared what we were doing and what we were going through. There was great love, there was great enjoyment, and there was some scholarship, but not the Chitre or the Ramanujan kind of scholarship, which is, you know, I mean, you read those introductions that Ramanujan wrote and you think, I'm going to get lost, you know, at some point in all of this. Anyway, so the Tukaram project started that way, and then COVID happened, right? No one could go anywhere. Though I used to go and you know, stand downstairs beneath Shanta's balcony on the first floor, and I would shout Shanta and then leave bullseyes, because she wanted bullseyes once, okay, on the door frame. All this was happening, and we worked on Tukaram together literally through the period of COVID.
I thought your story was going to be that you stood under her balcony and serenaded her with Tuka Abhangs. And she said, no, Jerry, that's wrong. And she would correct you. But anyway, so I also want to draw attention to the fact, and I think it's very important that we do draw attention to this particular fact, what it means to be translating bhakti poetry in this environment and in this atmosphere.
You know, when I started doing Ant, right, I thought this is going to be such a tough call, okay? Because right now it seems like there are very high walls that people are building around themselves and each other. And I thought, what happens if, you know, our right-wing friends decide, you know, to shout. And then Muktabai said to me, Tukaram said to me, they got us too. They attacked us in our time. We stood for it. Can you do the same? And I thought, if you know, Tukaram has a moment when he says that the Bhakti Marg is like rolling chapatis on the point of a needle, right? So if no one said this was going to be easy. No one said this was going to be a walk in the park. So I thought, okay, chal, let's see. I'm coming in with just good intentions, okay? My feeling is of just like when I think about living in India, right? And I think about the fact that it's Arshia Sattar and Jerry Pinto on stage, but Tukaram is in the background. But Tukaram doesn't care. Tukaram doesn't care whether she's a Muslim and I'm a Christian. He doesn't care because he's looking beyond ascription. This is ascription. This is like, you know, when people say my religion, I want to ask them, Tera kaise bana? How did it become your religion? You were born in there. That's your faith tradition that you were born into. Maybe you developed some association with it. Maybe you have a relationship with it. But for most of the world, it's just a matter of ritual and culture, you know. And God, the great dietitian of the Indian subcontinent, you know, who is worried about what everybody eats and how they eat it and when they eat it. That's God's largest role, it seems. So my thing is, I've come in here as part of a great, glorious tradition of India. That's my tradition. My tradition is Rahim, writing poems to Krishna. My tradition is Eknath, saying Maula kare, Allah kare. Okay? That's my tradition. Now your tradition may be different. I respect your tradition, but I will walk in my tradition because I can only be honest to my tradition. And if I try to be dishonest, it will show up. And I don't want showing up. I mean, you know, in the sense. So, okay, I want to say this. I'm often terrified. Okay? I'm terrified at all the risks I take. And I think it's very important to do it scared. No, I do not think that Gandhiji set out on the Dandi March and was not afraid of British retaliation. I think Savitribai Phule, when she was educating those young girls, knew that they were going to attack her. But they did it, and they did it afraid. We must do it afraid, what we believe in.
Yep, I'll agree with you there. I think it would be foolish to not be afraid. But you guys should not be afraid to buy the book. You should buy the book without fear. Yeah, because so far we're allowed to do that. Do you want to tell us a little about Vithala and what a loving, sweet God he is? You know,
oh, Vithala, I mean, you know, fundamentally, this is Vithala, right? There is no other God on the subcontinent who stands like this, but there's a lovely story. And why does he stand like this? This, I think, could only happen in Maharashtra. So Vithala arrives in, on the earth, and Vishnu arrives on the earth, and he suddenly remembers, oh, there is this guy, one of my great bhakts, who has, what a terrible thing has been happened to that word, no? Bhakts. Anyway, one of my great disciples and devotees, who has, I've promised that I will appear to him in some life, so I might as well do it in this life. Now, when he appears to the devotee is busy looking after his parents. And so he takes a brick and throws it at Vishnu and says, stand there for a while on this brick, okay, while I look after my parents. And Vishnu probably is thinking, I'm God. Okay, I just appeared to you and I'm supposed to stand on a brick. But Vishnu only I think a Maharashtrian could tell God, just wait, I got work to do, you know, then we'll attend to you. Now Vitthala becomes this figure that is at once beautifully accessible and beautifully remote, like all gods, right? So Vitthala in Jani's formulation, Jani sees Vitthala as someone who comes with her. When she is sweeping, he brings the dustpan. Okay? And she has moments of huge rage at him. She says, I hope your body is dragged through the marketplace and I will spit on it. Okay? And then there are other times when, oh, there is this lovely thing, Janabai says, first you kill my husband. Okay? Then you take my mother-in-law. Then you take my father-in-law. Then take this sister-in-law as well. Then take my brother-in-law. And once that's done, it'll just be you and I alone in the night. You got to love this kind of, like, this is just, this yari is our tradition. This wonderful ability to sum up not just love and adoration and veneration, but an intense feeling of physicality, an intense feeling of connectedness to the divine. When she feeds him, she says, he burps his happiness over her. He burps. God belches. How lovely is that? How wonderfully lovely is that? What happened? What happened? Clap loudly, Lynn.
Okay. Sorry. I know I want to do this one poem with you and then I'll leave. Yeah. I want to bring it back to the poetry, right? Now, the difference between these two books, between The Ant Who Swallowed the Sun and Behold, the World is God. In The Ant Who Swallowed the Sun, Jerry and Neela are translating together. Yeah, a collaborative translation, which I think really is the way to go. It makes the translation better, it makes us better as translators, everything. But Behold the Word, Shanta Gokhale has done a literal translation, a poetic literal translation of the Abhanga, and then Jerry has responded to it as a poet. Right? So my favorite poem, please, since I have to leave, page 77.
Page?
77.
77?
Yeah. Sundarate dhyane ubi. So shall I read the Shanta one and then you read?
Please, yeah.
So I'm going to read what Shanta translated. Oh, this beauteous image, standing erect on a brick, elbows out, hands on hips, tulsi beads around the neck, waist girded in yellow silk. Earlobes a-glitter with rings forged in a crocodile shape. A kaustuba pendant winks and sparkles on the chest. This image I will adore, now and forevermore. Says Tuka, here is my happiness to gaze with love on this face. And you did?
Yeah. Are you leaving now?
Yeah, but you finished the poem first.
Okay.
Yeah.
How beautiful you are, arms akimbo, standing on that brick, tulsi beads around your neck, your loins are girded in gold silk. This is the form I shall ever adore. Your earrings, crocodile-shaped, are radiant. A kaustuba gleams at your throat. Tuka says, here is all my joy. Your face, your face. Thank you. You're running? Yeah, see you, bye. You too. Okay, now we have an experiment. Bhakti cannot be done sitting down. On your feet, everybody. Everybody on your feet. Chal, chal. We are going to do an abhang together in Marathi. Okay? You're going to recite with me in Marathi. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Yay! That's the spirit, okay? This is the starting of my... Don't worry that you don't know the words. Don't worry that you don't know the words. The words have never been important in the tradition of prayer. The meaning of the words have never been important. It is the rhythm. It is the sound that produces the healing. We will heal together here. In this moment we will heal because we will be talking together in the words of a 17th century poet who loved his God above everything, maybe even more than all the people around him. Don't worry about getting the pronunciation wrong. Don't worry about anything. Drop worry. This is bhakti. This is the place where we are the best we can be because we are accepted without thought. And then I'll read you the translation. Okay? This is where I started with bhakti myself. Geez, I'm saying geez, which is a bit true. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready to go? Yeah? Okay. Don't worry. Just say it. Say what you hear. Right? Je ka ranzale ganzale. Wonderfully done. Let's do it again. Je ka ranzale ganzale. Put energy into it, man. Calcutta, play your best. Je ka ranzale ganzale. To si mane jo apule. To si sadhu olkhava. To si sadhu olkhava. Running out of energy already. Tosi sadhu olkhava. Devate te chizanava. Mrudhu sabhaya navanita. Taise sajjanache chitta. Tuka mane sangu kiti. Tochi Bhagwantachi Murti. Give yourself a big hand. Lovely. Tukaram in Kolkata. Yay. Thank you. Am I running out of time? Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that together. I just love it when that happens. Okay, and here is the translation. This is where I started my connection with Tukaram. It was in the 8th standard. I was a student in a... I can't bear this up here, na? It's such a bad place to be. And bhakti needs you to be on eye level with people. You can't be up on a stage, right? So I was in school, and in school we had poetry. And poetry meant you tied a poem to a chair and you beat it. And you said, tell me what you mean. Tell me what you mean. And you took the poem and you smashed it into prose. And you wrote an explanation of what the poem meant. You didn't know why you were doing this. You had no idea why you were doing anything in school. X plus y raised to 3 is x cube plus y cube plus 3x square y plus 3xy square. You wrote that out 100 times and it went into your head. So I learnt poetry because they told me to learn poetry. I was not doing it for any other reason. And then in the 10th standard, my life broke open because I read a poem by Wilfred Owen called Futility. It's an anti-war poem, and it would be a poem you could read today about Gaza. Move him into the sun. Softly its touch did wake him once. And, you know, it talks about this dead young man under a tree. Oh, what made fatuous sunbeams toil to break earth's sleep at all? And I thought, I want to do this. I want to write poetry like this. But I didn't know if I could, because I had not been in a war. And I had not seen a young man dying. And I thought you needed to do that. You needed to have that in order to write a poem. So I kept this secret wound inside my heart that I wanted to be a poet, but I didn't have the life experience to be a poet. I didn't know what I wanted to say. I didn't wish to be in a war. I was not brave enough. But I just wanted to be a poet. And then slowly you begin to get the confidence that even this small broken little self that you have, which has not experienced war, can produce poetry. And then I read somewhere that Auden or Spender or one of those white boys had said that a poet must have thousands of lines of poetry in his head. And I thought, I have learned poetry in school. So I set myself a task. I said I will walk from Nariman Point in Bombay along the sea, because the sea is, if there is the sea, then the poetry and the sea, come on. That's like, you know, it's like natural. So I'll walk along the sea and I'll recite poetry loud, and I will walk right up to the Malabar Hill where the dead Parsis lie and the vultures eat them. So there will be sea and there will be land and there will be death and there will be night and there will be sky and there will be poetry. This is glorious. Okay, so I started in the middle of the night and I was walking down and I was reciting poetry and I was doing all the good ones, and then suddenly I was running out. I couldn't remember too many lines, and from nowhere, Jeka Ranzale Ganzale surfaced. It was in my head all along. Jeka Ranzale Ganzale, Tosi Mane Jo Apule, Tosi Sadhu Olakava, Devate Techi Zanava. It was coming back, and I was saying it and thinking, who are you, Tukaram, that you have been with me inside my heart, inside my head for dozens of years? And so Shanta gave me the Gatha, the Tukaram Sarth, the collection. I began to read one every night, making notes, thinking, translating. And then Jeka Ranzale Ganzale is, I just have to check time. Huh? Oh, 2.47 left. I'm sorry, there's not going to be time for questions, but questions! You have questions about bhakti, and you're going to ask me questions. The answers are with you already. You know the answers. Okay, so now here's Jeka Ranzale Ganzale in English, my translation. How do you tell a saint? Look for such a one as takes for his own the overborn, the outworn, and the forlorn. You know what I think stayed in my head in the first place was Ranzale Ganzale. Nzanz. That sound was there. So when I translated, I wanted the N sounds. The outworn, the forlorn, the overborn. You feel that kind of like the n coming. And when I got it, I was so pleased. Know that this man is an image of God. His mind is as soft as butter, inside and out. To his heart he holds the low-born, the base-born. His slaves and his children are to him as one. Tuka says, I can go on and on. This man is an embodiment of God. Tukaram and Jerry Pinto, thank you for your patient listening. The book is available on sale. Thank you so much. There is a minute and 17. You have a question? Or shall we do another poem? Another poem. Chal. Everybody up on your feet again then. Come on, come on. Ah. Helen? Only in India will suddenly Helen surface in the middle of Tukaram. But, you know... certainly we'll talk together. I'll talk to you later, yeah? Okay, come on everybody on your feet. This is such a lovely poem, and it is meant for everyone who feels words are precious. Okay, this is for us, for all our writers. It's called. Okay, ready with your full energy, right? Yeah. Amha ghari dhana shabdanchi ratne. Shabdanchi ratne. Okay. Amha ghari dhana शब्दांची रत्ने शब्दांची यस्त्र यत्न करू शब्दाची आमुच्या जीवाचे जीवन शब्द वाटू धन जनलोका तुका म्हणे पहा शब्दांची हा देवा शब्दांची हा देवा शब्देची गौरव पूजा करू. You got it, no, little bits, yeah? Words are wealth. Words are tools. Words, life of our life. Words, the wealth we offer the world. Tuka says, the word is God. The word be praised. Hey!